A rugged and diverse assortment of soldiers, the Marines of the Halo universe are the unsung heroes of the United Nations Space Command, desperately fighting a losing war against the fanatical aliens that are the Covenant. Even under the command of humanity's greatest leaders, the Marines continue to wage a furious struggle. They're the best of the best, but they're only human. In this episode of the evolution of Halo, we'll be taking an in-depth look into the various designs, gameplay, and AI behaviors the Marines in the Halo franchise have seen throughout the years. And at any point, if you enjoy this or any of my other videos, please be sure to subscribe, give it a like, and also follow me on Twitter at EBR_Halo. I appreciate you taking the time. Your support greatly helps my channel grow, which in turn helps me continue to make more Halo content. So with that said, let's get into it. First introduced in 2001, the Marines in Combat Evolved start the series off with a bang. Taking heavy inspiration from the Colonial Marines in the 1986 film Aliens, the Combat Evolved Marines are definitely
ready to get it on. Yo!
Their attire consists of gray combat fatigues with heavy armor plating over their chest, back, waist, shoulders, forearms, hips, thighs, and lower legs. Their standard issued helmet, the CH-252, matches the armor plating and comes with a microphone and heads-up display eyepiece that covers their right eye. The eyepiece features a green-colored semi-transparent screen where tactical information scrolls down in real time. Marines can also be seen using fatigues without the overlaid armor plating. This outfit variation comes with a soft armored vest and either a fisherman's bucket hat, a forward-facing 8-point utility cover cap with a logo on the front, a bandana, or simply no headgear at all. Additionally, Navy crewmen will be seen on the levels The Pillar of Autumn and Halo. They wear a cloth jumpsuit and combat boots. Their jumpsuit is colored gray on the upper chest and shoulders, with the rest of their suit either blue, yellow, orange, red, and gray. Several notable Marines also make a first-time appearance in Combat Evolved. We have the remarkable Sergeant Stacker, the legendary Sergeant Johnson,
Hey, move your ass!
and the primordial himself, Chips Dubbo.
Sir, the captain needs you on the bridge ASAP. Better follow me.
Moving on to weapons, the Combat Evolved Marines predominantly use MA5B assault rifles, though occasionally they can be seen with a pistol, sniper rifle, shotgun, and very rarely the Needler or plasma rifle when no UNSC weapons are available. Next up, we have their AI behaviors and gameplay abilities. The Marines in general have quite a few animations and behaviors. When in battle, they can crouch, roll, throw grenades, dive out of the way from enemy nades, slightly stutter when shot, and even go berserk when they've taken too much damage, charging in a straight line towards the nearest enemy and firing in extended bursts. Navy crewmen will often run and cower when frightened as well. They can man the gun turret on Warthogs, ride on the passenger seats on the sides of a Scorpion, and even on rare occasions pilot Ghosts. Their health is displayed when they're riding as passengers in vehicles. Marines are conscious of betrayals and team killing. After you kill 2 of them, the rest of the Marines in the campaign level will attack and eventually kill the player. Another example, if the player kills Captain Keyes or any other members of the bridge crew in the level The Pillar of Autumn, Cortana will lock the doors and summon a squad of invincible Marines to kill you. Marines have numerous funny and goofy lines that they say to the player, the Covenant, or even themselves.
You monkeys almost look like soldiers there.
Yeah, they gave it the best shot, but they didn't count on running into the biggest squad of Marine badasses in the Corps.
Their armor can deflect and ricochet bullets. Try shooting a dead Marine's armor with a ballistic weapon, like the assault rifle, and it will ricochet at your shields. Meleeing them will result in a loud clack sound as well. They probably have the most gut-wrenching and visceral scream out of any Marine in the series.
Ooh.
Moving on to their gameplay, the Combat Evolved Marines are highly capable soldiers. They have a decent amount of health and armor, are relatively accurate with the AR, and are absolutely crack shots with the sniper rifle, even giving the infamous Halo 2 Jackal snipers a run for their money. However, they do have some disadvantages, most notably their stutter animation. When a Marine gets hit by enemy fire, it causes them to stutter, rendering them unable to shoot their weapons or even move, which makes them nearly useless in higher difficulties, especially when facing highly aggressive elites and jackals. And with them unable to perform melee attacks, they're quite useless when it comes to close quarters combat, with them just rolling around an enemy. They're also unable to pick up health packs, making it very inconvenient for the player when trying to keep them alive. While their support can be useful when operating a ghost, Marines are terrible at steering and will often run over the player without warning. Marines are also poor fighters against the Flood and will often take heavy, if not total losses when fighting them, especially against Flood infection forms. Once one is attached to a Marine, it cannot be shaken off and will result in imminent death. Overall, the Marines in Combat Evolved are a fantastic starting point in the series with their iconic 1980s military sci-fi art design and lively demeanor during combat. They really are the ultimate badasses. Now running on a stronger engine, the Marines in Halo 2 saw a significant upgrade to their appearance, AI intelligence, and gameplay. While maintaining the same overall look of Combat Evolved's design, Halo 2 Marines are equipped with a less futuristic and more modern version of their standard armor. Their new outfit now comes with green camouflage pattern fatigues, solid black combat gloves, elbow pads, knee pads, and a matte olive green helmet and body armor. Their helmets maintain the same design seen before, but now lacks the green eyepiece and mouth microphone. The chest and backplate armor have an overall square shape, with two shallow cutouts on either side of the chest. The chest plate reaches up to either side of the wearer's collar and entirely over the user's shoulders in order to connect with the backplate. The shoulder pauldrons have a pointed design and are located on the upper arms. Various utility pouches can often be seen affixed to the chest armor, waist, and lower backplates, as well as the occasional communication backpack. Now, for the first time in the series, female Marines can be seen throughout the campaign, as well as multiple ethnicities. Several different outfits and personnel are also introduced in Halo 2. Marine pilots are now seen, with them wearing round helmets with gold visors, very similar in appearance to the cyborg character from Bungie's previous series, Marathon. The dress uniform is the standard uniform worn during special occasions such as award ceremonies. The outfit consists of a double-breasted white jacket with gold-colored buttons and blue trousers. The seams of the jacket on the left breast and right shoulder are picked out with black stitching. Rank insignia is displayed on the shoulders, medals are worn with the uniform on the left breast. The uniform also comes with a white-topped cap with a black visor. A new Special Operations Force for the Marines also makes a legendary first appearance in Halo 2, the ODSTs. They wear dark camo fatigues, midnight black armor, and a fully enclosed helmet with a blue visor. Deploying from orbit via drop pods, these Marines absolutely live up to their nickname as Helljumpers. Moving on to their AI behaviors and gameplay abilities, the Marines in Halo 2 feature a slew of new abilities. Marines are now able to take cover behind doorways, corners, and obstacles when under fire. They also have significantly more lines of dialogue, and will even respond to and react to one another's speech in non-scripted ways.
6 points on that one. I taught him everything he knows.
The player can now swap weapons with their Marine allies, fixing the problem of team killing your Marines for their power weapons from the previous game. Marines also have infinite ammo with all weapons given to them, so instead of using your final sniper shot on a random grunt, the player can give it to a Marine where he or she can make a bigger impact with it. The Marines have also gained a ton of smaller abilities such as carrying, mounting, and using machine gun turrets. Marines are now able to drive the Warthog, Wraith, and Scorpion tank, albeit a bit clumsy. Marines' helmets will now protect them from headshots and will pop off when hit with a direct shot. Marines' health bars can no longer be seen when using a vehicle. Marines are no longer stunned every time they're hit by enemy fire. Unlike in Combat Evolved, where any bullets would ricochet off their armor, Halo 2's armor does not deflect anything but penetrates the bodies, resulting in a large amount of blood. Now, assessing their gameplay, the Halo 2 Marines are even more exceptional fighters than in CE, even on higher difficulties. They now have double the health than before, can survive as much damage as a fully shielded minor elite, and frequently use intelligent combat tactics such as using cover, firing from behind cover, combining firepower, and flanking maneuvers. Anywhere from 2 to 5 Marines can absolutely hold their own against large groups of enemies like grunts and jackals. With the added benefit of being able to swap weapons with them, it allows the player to buff up his Marine squad with power weapons, making them an even deadlier force to be reckoned with. Their accuracy with all weapons is also excellent, with them oftentimes scoring multiple headshots or rocket kills in quick succession. So what worked with Halo 2's Marines? What worked with the Marines in Halo 2 would have to be the improvement they've received in regards to their increased AI intelligence and combat effectiveness. They now work together as a squad much more effectively, and with their health and accuracy increase from the previous game, they've got the players back in most situations. What didn't work, however, is their poor handling and driving of vehicles. They seem to have a really hard time navigating the map, which can be irritating if you want to relax and be the gunner on a Warthog. And while they've seen a health buff, their base health is still relatively weak on higher difficulties, especially on Legendary. They're still extremely vulnerable to energy swords, explosions, and the Flood. Overall, the Marines in Halo 2 are outstanding. They have awesome armor, hilarious dialogue, and provide even better support than before. They're definitely one of my favorite iterations in the series. Thanks to the power of the Xbox 360 and the advent of HD, the Halo 3 Marines received a more detailed and altered design compared to their Halo 2 appearance. The new design now features a heavier chest plate with a layered surface, buckled straps running over the user's shoulders to help secure it against the backplate, more rounded and thicker shoulder pauldrons, as well as an added protective collar around the side and back of the neck. The helmet can now be seen equipped with orange ballistic goggles, as well as the return of the boom mic. Like the previous 2 games, Marine Sergeants wear utility caps with the UNSC logo on the front. The armor, helmets, and caps used in Halo 3 are painted olive drab, while the combat fatigues feature a light woodland camouflage pattern. And speaking of fatigues, 2 new combat fatigue options are available for the Marines. The first option comes with a flexible vest of black material that covers the entire torso and runs partially down the upper arms, along with fingerless gloves. The second variation completely covers the entirety of the Marine's arms and legs, with added elbow pads and heavy black duty gloves. And just like in Halo 2, the Marine's armor can be outfitted with various accessories like ammo pouches, tactical data pads, and communication backpacks. The Marines have also seen some updates in their specialists, with the addition of wounded Marines officially introduced in Halo 3. Often seen on the ground writhing in pain or helping defend important positions, these injured and wounded Marines feature eye patches and bloody bandages on their arms and heads. Wounded Marines make appearances on the levels Crow's Nest, Savo Highway, and the Storm. Marine pilots now wear a fully sealed helmet with a blue-colored visor, with a wing and 7th column icon painted above the visor. Additionally, the standard chest piece armor now has a control panel in the center. The Elite ODST make a return from Halo 2, but with a slight redesign to their helmets and visors, heavier armor plating, and some added extra detail to their overall look, like this Chinese symbol on their chest meaning confusion or chaos. Specialist roles are also distinguished by different color stripes located on their left shoulders. Now moving on to their AI behaviors and gameplay abilities, the Halo 3 Marines continue to add more abilities to their resume. They now display group tactics never seen in previous games, like huddling in tight groups and combining assault rifle fire while combating enemies like drones. Their grenade throwing and melee attacks have been increased, especially on higher difficulties. Marines can now climb up on an object if it's low enough. Marines can be seen being tortured and killed by brutes throughout Earth's levels. They will either have their spines broken, be thrown on the ground, or have their necks snapped and kneed in the face. When killed, Marines will have noticeable wounds and blood splatter on their faces and bodies. Marines are now seen in much larger numbers in Halo 3. In the previous games, they were usually seen in groups of 4 to 6, or about 1 squad. Now, anywhere from 7 to up to 15 Marines can be seen at one time, all able to assist the player. Marines can now lead their shots with targets with weapons like the rocket launcher or fuel rod gun. This can be seen easily if the player drives a mongoose with a Marine passenger using a rocket launcher. Just like the previous 2 games, if the player kills 2 Marines in quick succession, any that are left in the area will turn hostile. Their accuracy becomes 100% if betrayed, and if there's even 2 or more remaining Marines, they can end the player's life in a matter of seconds on higher difficulties. Gameplay-wise, the Marines in Halo 3 are even more intelligent and active on the battlefield than before. Like mentioned previously, their increased accuracy with grenades and the ability to use cohesive group tactics make these Marines far more effective fighters than before. Their increase in numbers also helps them take down tougher enemies like brutes and hunters, with them surrounding their targets and combining their fire. Unfortunately though, the weaknesses the Marines had in previous games are still prevalent in Halo 3. While not incredibly fragile, they're still weak on higher difficulties, only able to withstand a few shots from weapons like the Spiker, Carbine, and Needler. Marines are also particularly vulnerable to brute shots and vehicle fire, with large groups of Marines dying in seconds when going up against brute captains, ghosts, and choppers. Marines are still poor fighters against the Flood, but are now even more vulnerable to infection forms, thanks to the new ability the Flood gained. If an infection form attaches itself to a Marine, it will infect and mutate the Marine into a combat form in a matter of seconds. With this new trick, and the increase in the Flood's overall numbers in Halo 3, Marines will only last a few seconds before submitting to the Flood. And on an ODST side note, the Marines are identical in terms of appearance, with their driving and pathfinding seeing a slight upgrade. Their accuracy has also been increased, whether on foot with handheld weapons or using turrets. A new ally is also encountered in the campaign, the officers of the New Mombasa Police Department. They're equipped with a black uniform and a body armored vest, as well as a modified CH-252 helmet with a blast visor colored orange. Officers wear similar armor, but with a gray 8-point cap and orange combat lenses. Besides the changes to their attire, the New Mombasa Police are the same gameplay-wise as the Marines in ODST. Overall, the Marines in Halo 3 and ODST continue the trend of excellence seen from the past 2 games. They have a good art design, are highly efficient fighters, and with even more hilarious dialogue, they never let battles feel stale. They're probably the most well-rounded Marines in the series. Now, I usually don't include a synopsis of the Halo Wars games since it's not part of the mainline series, but the Marine design in the original Halo Wars is so significant that it warrants an honorable mention. While I won't be discussing their gameplay since Halo Wars is an RTS, I will be going over their fantastic art design. Let's start with their combat fatigues and armor, which can be seen in 2 variations. The first, and most commonly seen, features a heavy plated chest piece, broad shoulder pauldrons, as well as armor plating on their forearms, shins, and boots. Their helmets have the standard design seen before, but with a metal brim that extends over the front of the user's head. They are also equipped with polarized tactical goggles as well as balaclavas that cover the bottom part of their faces. The armor and helmet comes in a light brown reflective color with 2-tone greenish-gray combat fatigues. The second variation is their cold environment outfit. It features the same armor and accessories, but with thicker winter fatigues and matching white-colored armor. The Halo Wars Marines' overall look seems to be a perfect blend of Combat Evolved's retro 80s style, with Halo 2 and 3's more grounded but still futuristic look. It's everything I want in a Halo Marine, and by far my favorite design for them in the Halo series. With Halo Reach taking on a more gritty and realistic approach to the Covenant War, a new type of soldier was introduced: the brave men and women of the UNSC Army Infantry, or simply known as Army Troopers. The base design of the Army Troopers is quite similar to the Marines in previous games, with it following the same pattern of durable armor over camouflage combat fatigues. The base chest armor has the Troopers' rank insignia stamped in the center, with male troopers having a cavalry symbol of a hexagon with a diagonal black line on their shoulder. Their blood type can also be seen underneath the emblem. The real change, however, pertains to several different armor variations, extra detailing, and combat accessories. Because of the new hardware and stronger engine of Halo Reach, the Troopers will have over a dozen different variations on their appearance. They can be seen wearing different colored armors and combat fatigues, various accessories like combat knives, sniper rounds, ammo pouches, and different types of backpacks, including radios and combat webbing. Their helmets now have chin straps and can be outfitted with various attachments, including ballistic goggles that are now a light green color, a heads-up display optical eyepiece like the one seen in Combat Evolved, along with camera optic lenses. The troopers have seen an upgrade to their facial models and voices as well, with half a dozen different faces and voices for both male and female troopers. Some troopers also wear face paint camouflage or balaclavas with their helmets. Specialist troopers have unique armor accessories as well. Army trooper medics have a red hospital symbol on their helmets and shoulder pads. Army pilot troopers fighting in space are seen equipped with a light armored version of the standard trooper. Their outfit consists of a fully sealed helmet with a transparent visor, chest and back plating, with no armor on their shoulders, arms, and legs. The ODSTs have also seen a serious upgrade in detail to their armor. Various pouches and straps run along their front and sides, with the UNSC and Helljumper symbols, as well as their blood type stamped on their chest and shoulder. Their helmets have a white stripe down the center and sides, along with a field camera. And while the player encounters army troopers the majority of the time throughout the campaign, they do receive support from other groups as well. The first group encountered are Reach civilians, which are part of the local militia. Equipped with stolen UNSC weapons, they aid the player in investigating a Covenant Dark Zone in the mission Nightfall. The second non-trooper group encountered are the classic UNSC fighting force, the Marines. Assisting the player in clearing an LZ next to the Pillar of Autumn's launch site, these Marines can be seen wearing a specialized version of the Army Trooper armor. They're outfitted with the same space helmets seen earlier in the game, alongside urban combat fatigues, brown armor, as well as a UNSC emblem on their left shoulder. Besides these differences, the Marines behave and fight exactly the same as the troopers. Moving on to their AI behaviors and gameplay abilities, the troopers in Reach have added a few new traits to the previous Marines' abilities. Anywhere from 3 to 5 army troopers can now be recruited in the player's squad using a fire team mechanic. Once recruited, the names of the troopers, who are all named after employees from Bungie and Rooster Teeth, appear near your radar, along with their rank and call sign. They will then follow the player throughout the entire level if possible. Unfortunately, the player cannot give them special commands. Just like past games in the series, if 2 or more troopers are killed by the player in a row, the rest of the allies will attack the player. After they turn hostile, their weapons become so powerful that they can kill the player in one shot. They now have the ability to guide rocket launcher shots towards all manner of enemies, such as infantry and ground vehicles, while the player can only lock on to aircraft. Now, assessing their gameplay, the Army Troopers function the same as the Marines from previous games. They can still trade weapons with the player, drive vehicles, and throw grenades. They're quite effective at range combat, and with groups as numerous as 15 troopers on the battlefield, they can hold their own and pretty much beat any ground force that doesn't involve hunters. But unfortunately, they are generally much weaker individually than the Marines seen in the past. With all the combat upgrades the Covenant gained in Reach, the troopers have a really hard time keeping up with them. Elites and hunters in particular will massacre troopers in seconds with their shots and ferocious melee attacks. So what worked with Halo Reach's army troopers? What worked with the troopers in Reach has to be their new design and variations. It's a more grounded and realistic take on the classic armor we're used to, but still retains that Halo look we all know and love. On top of that, with all the different variations with gender, armor, accessories, and specialists, it really makes the troopers feel like part of a much larger system and an actual army. It's fantastic. What didn't work, however, was the hit to their combat effectiveness. Equipping them primarily with weak assault rifles and then pitting them up against elites and hunters is just not a fair fight and happens way too often in Reach for them to be reliable. Their AI seems to have taken a dip as well, with their driving and grenade throwing skills particularly bad. Overall, the army troopers in Reach are some of my favorite UNSC allies in the entire series. While they're easily the weakest fighters in the Bungie games, they still have an incredible art design, memorable dialogue, and are the last remarkable allies Halo fans have seen in over a decade. Like pretty much everything in Combat Evolved Anniversary, the Marines' new updated look is an almost identical version of the Army Troopers seen in Halo Reach. Every standard Marine is equipped with the same tan-colored armor, helmet, eyepiece, backpack, combat knife, and shoulder pauldrons, with the right pauldron displaying the soldier's blood type, O positive, and the left displaying the UNSC logo. The Marines that were originally outfitted with combat fatigues now wear an updated version of the soft body armor and utilities, as well as the bucket hats, 8-point caps, and bandanas. Naval personnel are also now equipped with a white jumpsuit instead of the various colors seen in the original. Besides these changes, the Combat Evolved Anniversary Marines behave and fight exactly like the original. Overall, the Combat Evolved Anniversary Marines are average. While their appearance isn't bad, with the exception of some of their faces, the use of the Army Trooper design just doesn't translate or look as good in this game as the original iconic and memorable CE Marines. They're not the best looking models in CEA, but they're certainly not the worst. Breaking the trend of reusing Reach models for the Marines like CEA, Halo 2 Anniversary created a brand new design more reminiscent of the original Halo 2 look. The Marines' armor now has a more heavy-duty, sharp metal look to it, with extra plating on their shoulders, biceps, forearms, and gloves, as well as their legs. Their chest armor can be seen equipped with numerous pouches like classic Halo 2, with the letters UNSC and a barcode stamped above them. Their faces have also seen an upgrade in detail, with the addition of facial stubble, skin pores, and more defined eyelashes and teeth. Even with all these upgrades, they still tend to make wacky faces when shot or injured. The ODST received an update as well, with their original Halo 2 design now fully realized in modern graphics. They now come with more detailed helmets and body armor, various pouches and straps, as well as additional details like a camera attached to their helmet, the letters ODST on their armor, and even a combat knife. Overall, the Halo 2 Anniversary Marines are a bright spot in the series. Their updated design still retains that classic look, with a fresh new take. While their anniversary appearance is not my favorite look in the series, I still can't deny they're one of the best. With 343 introducing redesigns to almost every aspect of the Halo universe in Halo 4, the Marines in particular saw a completely new art design. The standard Marine is now equipped with two different variations for their armor and accessories. The first features a soft ballistic vest that covers their chest, abdomen, and back, alongside small shoulder pads, elbow pads, crotch protection, and armored boots. The helmet that comes with this set has a much wider design than before, with it wrapping around either side of the user's face, connecting at the bottom chin strap. Clear ballistic lenses are often seen integrated into the helmet as well. The second variation consists of a heavy armor plating on the chest, bigger and thicker shoulder pads, and thigh armors alongside a smaller helmet. Both of these post-war BDUs come with the standard accessories included wrist-mounted displays, tactical goggles, combat knives, and helmet attachments. The combat fatigues worn beneath all armors are characterized by their two-tone coloration, with the primary color most commonly olive drab, although gray variants are also seen. In addition to the primary color, the uniform has reddish-brown sections on the inner part of the legs, the neck, the upper part of the sleeves, and the sides of the torso. The armor and helmet itself is either olive drab, khaki, white, or even black. It all depends on the user's specialty. Speaking of specialty, several Marine specialists are also introduced in Halo 4. Heavy Infantry Marines are equipped with an up-armored chest plating, a full-face helmet with a white face mask, and a green-tinted visor. The armor worn by these Marines is often colored green with white highlights. The armor worn by Marine medics is colored white with red accents. It also features a considerable amount of tactical pouches to contain medical supplies. Naval officers are also equipped with brand new post-war Covenant uniforms. The uniforms come equipped with an integrated armored vest, shoulder pauldrons, and back armor plating to help protect the spine. Utility pouches are often attached to the belt as well. The rest of the uniform consists of a short tunic and trousers, both primarily colored gray, with the inside of the trousers, sleeves, and the midsection of the tunic under the armor vest a dark gray. An array of blue lights are also displayed in the armor sections on the back. Rank insignia is displayed on the collar, the shoulder pauldrons, and the cuffs. Ribbons are worn on the left chest, alongside a patch with the United Earth government symbol. Now moving on to their AI, the Halo 4 Marines' intelligence has been downgraded significantly compared to before. These Marines are often very stagnant and slow to react and seek cover, with them often simply standing in the open and taking shots until they die. And when they do move, they never try to flank the enemy and will instead beeline in a straight path towards their opponents. They also have extremely poor performance in vehicular combat. When driving, Marines will often drive rather slowly and not take any form of evasive maneuvers, which can easily spell doom to players on higher difficulties. While their performance on a turret is much better than behind the wheel, they suffer the flaw of shooting dead enemies while ignoring live ones. It also doesn't help that the Marines have a maximum range that is smaller than that of enemy vehicles, meaning that they will not fire upon an attacking ghost until you're practically right next to it. Now, regarding their gameplay, the Halo 4 Marines has some of the worst gameplay out of any Marine in any game. Their firing pattern and effective range are terrible. They barely throw grenades, and have a base health even weaker than the Army troopers seen in Reach. With the combination of their low health and AI intelligence, the player will be lucky if any Marines survive even simple encounters with weak enemies like crawlers. So what worked with the Marines in Halo 4? What worked with the Halo 4 Marines would have to be their multiple armors for each different class of Marine. It continues the trend from Reach of feeling like an actual military with different specialists and branches. The heavy infantry armor design is also not that bad with its face-covered helmet, heavier armor plating, and the classic Marine green color scheme. What didn't work, however, would be their dreadful gameplay and new overall appearance. Their new look is just too far removed from the Marines' original designs, with them now looking like a standard generic sci-fi soldier. Gone are the days of thick metal plating and futuristic equipment, now replaced with soft leather and Nerf armor. They now look like Killzone rejects rather than Halo Marines. Overall, the Halo 4 Marines are some of the saddest and most disappointing Marines in the series. Their armor designs are all over the place, and their AI and gameplay is extremely underwhelming. They could possibly be the worst Marines in the entire series. While it's accurate to say that the Halo 4 Marines lack the appearance, skills, and substantial involvement in their game, they still at least offered some Marine support and persona, even if it was a tad disappointing. Unfortunately, Halo 5 not only continues the trend of disappointment, but takes it one step further. For the first time in the mainline series, Halo 5 features no Marines or Army Trooper allies in the entire campaign. The closest thing we get to Marines are the introduction of a group of private security forces and settlers seen on the missions that take place on the glass world of Meridian. These personnel are equipped with environmental work suits that also double as protection against their Forerunner enemies. The outfit comes in a variety of versions, with the most common ones seen wearing either a full body suit or a more simple set of light armor. The full body suit comes with a canister backpack, a full face mask with goggle lenses, and a respirator to filter out the dust and ash from Meridian's glass surface. The secondary, simpler outfit comes with a standard helmet and armor on the chest, shoulders, and knee pads. Both outfits come in a variety of colors like orange, yellow, red, blue, and green. These settlers utilize an assortment of weapons such as sniper rifles, SMGs, assault rifles, battle rifles, and magnums. Their accuracy is reasonably good, with them laying down a substantial amount of covering fire while aiding the player. Their lethality and gameplay is nowhere near the levels of Halo 2 or 3, but they still put up a fight, with them even getting a kill if they're lucky. Funny enough, they no longer turn hostile towards the player if you intentionally kill them or their allies. They'll still yell and grumble when shot or meleeed, but no matter how many times you betray, the others will never attack you. They also have quite a few small scripted interactions with each other and the player. While subtle, it's definitely a positive when it comes to world building and making them feel more alive. While the Meridian settlers are the only non-Spartan allies in Halo 5's campaign, the Marines aren't excluded from every aspect of the game. Another first for the main series, Marines now make an appearance in multiplayer, serving as support NPCs defending captured bases in Halo 5's Warzone game mode. Appearance-wise, they wear the exact same version of armor seen in Halo 4, but now instead of a gray, green, or even tan color scheme, they're entirely colored in the shade of the team they spawn for, red or blue. Equipped with either an assault rifle, battle rifle, and frag grenades, they'll spawn in immediately after securing or capturing a base. They then will patrol the interior and greet the player with a wave and a word or two.
Something I can do?
In terms of gameplay quality, the Marines can hit targets accurately and provide consistent fire when enemies are within their range. However, they're extremely fragile, with them being easily killed by headshots, silenced weapons, and melee attacks. Their usefulness is limited, with their firing range and area of patrol shallow. With them not moving outside of that base they're stationed at. They also cannot trade weapons with the player, will not pick up any weapons on the ground, and will never enter a vehicle. So what worked with the allies and Marines in Halo 5? The only thing I can say that really worked was the idea of a civilian type of ally in a Halo game. In this case, the miners and settlers on Meridian. While their gameplay is nothing to write home about, they still have an interesting concept in the greater Halo lore, with the mask-goggled outfit and full bodysuit a pretty cool design. What didn't work, however, was the fact that this was the very first Halo game in the series that had no Marines in the campaign. I mean, come on, this is Halo. The Marines, with their funny banter, awesome designs, and lovable quirks, are essential to what makes a Halo campaign unique, memorable, and something special. It just feels off not having our boys and girls in green fight by our sides. Overall, the Marine representation, or lack thereof, in Halo 5 is straight up disappointing. They're not in the campaign, are a half-baked afterthought in multiplayer, and have a very strange appearance and color scheme. They're essentially lackluster shells of their former selves. And there you have it, an in-depth look into the Marines across all the games in the mainline series. With 343 reintroducing a more classic look and role for the Marines in Halo Infinite, I'm super excited for what's to come. What's your favorite Marine and why? What Halo evolution should I cover next? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
There's not much time.